Hello and welcome. Today I'm back down the plot and we have got loads of jobs that I want to get done. I don't think I'm going to get through them all in all honesty, but I have prioritised the ones that I really need to do. So what I need to do first off is to side shoot all these tomatoes and then rig up the structure that I want to use to support them all, because I need to look after what is here rather than like build a brassica cage for future veg. It's better for me to work on what is in at the moment and make that as good as possible. So without more waffling, let's get on and make a start. So I'm going to start by making a goal post across here, well, 2 goal posts across here, and then I'll run strings down for the tomatoes to climb up. I think these are going to be drastically too big in all honesty, but it's what I've got and I don't want to cut it really, so we'll see how tall it is when I'm done. So I can see that most of these tomatoes already have 2 trusses on them and they are about 40 centimetres from the floor. So I reckon they won't go up as high as 6 feet. I think they'll probably be more 4 feet. You know, will probably be where they set their last truss. So I'm going to measure 4 feet and that's where I'm going to put the post. You could of course just do these with canes, which I might have done if I didn't have the wood to hand, but because I've got the wood to hand I thought I'd do it this way. Yeah, I think that should be okay. Just checking the length of the screw. So I've just tacked that other side in and then I can put this side in place and then I can put that side firmly in place. Going to do the same the other side now. And just to make sure it's safe, I'm going to put a cross beam across that way as well. So I just need to tie the string around now and drop it down and then just wrap the plant around the string and it should just grow up quite nicely. I did also put another screw in the other side on each of the 4 poles or posts just to hopefully make it more secure, and it has done. There's there's a bit of wobble in it, but you would expect that. It should stay up. About half an hour ago I went to my car to get the bits and pieces out, get this twine out. I left my gate open and a couple of dogs came running in, grabbed the twine, so now the twine is in a right mess. But I reckon I will probably get through quite a lot of this twine doing this today. I might need to replace the twine with paracord at some point, but twine is all I've got today, so that's what I'm using. So I'll just go all the way along, put the twine in place, then we can side shoot things and hopefully that'll be all right then. So I'm going to make a start on side shooting these tomatoes now. I'll show you how I'm going to do the first one and then I'll just crack on and get them all done and I'll show you what it's like when it's finished. So this one is a good example because the side shoot has got awfully big and you can wonder which one is the main and which is the side shoot. And usually the main one is the one that has the trusses on it. This side shoot, the truss will come a bit later on up the stem. So that's the way to work out which one is which. Now, if I'm lucky, I'll be able to snap it off, yeah, with my hand. Sometimes they don't always come off, but this one is. And I just pull it out the side shoots now, being fairly gentle, and sort of just putting a little bit of pressure on it. This variety is Outdoor Girl. So that's all the side shoots taken off. Now, normally what I would do is I'd either peg it in to the ground, or I'd have planted it when I was actually planting the plant. So I would set all this up, and I would have just put that underneath the root, and it would have held itself. But I didn't do that because I had the garlic here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to wrap it around the stem fairly loosely, because the stem will grow and the stem will get thicker. So you don't want to sort of hinder it, but you do want to get a bit of tension on it as well. And then I will just run around, just gently feed it around the twine, and it should grow up the twine okay. I ended up changing the way I did the twine in the end. I actually buried it in the ground. I put a couple of stones on top and then buried it all. So hopefully they'll stay secure. If not, I'll just put a peg in there. Well, that's the bed all sorted out now. I'm pleased with how it looks. It doesn't look so good on camera as it does in person, but the reason I went for the strings rather than canes is because when I'm down here, in theory, I should just be able to wrap the plant around the cane rather than have to tie it in all the time. And I just thought that might be a quicker way of keeping on top of side shooting and everything. This side, however, I'm going to need to do a little bit differently, because this row here, the variety is Heinz, and they're a bush variety, so they don't grow up like tall and they need tying in like those ones. They sort of flop out, as it were, so they need supporting more in a grid-like system rather than tall and thin. But the other side are cordons, so I think I'll probably use a sort of bamboo cane sort of structure for that, but that can be done at another day, because I want to get in some beds to go at the side of my allotment so I can get some sunflowers in, because my sunflowers they need to go in the ground now. They're meant to be tall ones, but they're not going to get very tall now because they haven't had that growing space, but they can still go in and be pretty. So let's make a start on that. So this is the area here, and the same the other side, that I want to put in my bed. I'm going to put a little, either a breeze block or the offcuts of the sleeper in here, and then I'm going to put a pot on there next to it. I'm going to have a bed, and then the same all the way down. I'm not really bothered about doing all the way down yet, but I do want to try and get at least this one bed in, and the same the other side. I've got some old offcuts of wood that I used in my home garden that I'm going to put together as a long rectangle and then pop that in place. I do need to dig out that area as well, just to make it level, and then hopefully we can fill it with some compost and get the sunflowers in. Trying to make sure I'm getting as much of the grass out as I can, and also like the perennial nettles and things, just so that when my bed goes on here, I won't have to worry about it coming through. I've just given this a rake out now, so it's fairly flat, but I expect it's going to be sloping this way a bit, so it'll need a little bit of work, I think, but it should be okay, hopefully. Right, putting the sleeper in place now. I need to get my smaller spirit level to see if it's okay. But let's go and make the frame up for the bed first. So just behind my compost heaps is the pile of old wood, well, and the pile of new wood for the new beds that will be going in eventually. But this is the wood I brought down from my home garden when I took out all the beds there. So I just need to go through, denail some of it, see if they are any good to reuse, and then cut them to size and pop them into position. They're going to be 30 centimetres wide, and I'm just going to leave the length, you know, however long the length of the wood is, if I've got 2 pieces of wood that length. So I'm just going to cut a couple of the lengths to 30 centimetres. I shall try and get 4, which will be, you know, the 2 I need for this side and the 2 I need for the other side. And then we can join the lengths together to make the rectangle for the beds. Got my sunglasses on because I've forgotten my safety glasses. They do stop a bit of the sawdust from going in my eye, which is always a good thing. And that's number 4. I just need to find some wood now to cut to size so I can join the ends together. I got 7, I need 8. This is rotten, there's no point in me using this bit. So that can go in the dump pile, which is at the moment the same as the keep pile. I need to find one more piece, but it might not be the same bit of wood. In fact, here is one right here. So I'm just going to do the same thing I did when I joined my beds together. Just connect these 2 with 3 screws. And the same this side. These are going to be longer beds than I thought, but that's not such a bad thing. Okay, that's one done. I'll get on and do the other 3, and then we'll join the ends together. And we should almost be there with our bed. Sorry, we should almost be there with our bed. Shouldn't be talking to you with sunglasses on, should I? It's very rude. Okay, that's 2 down. I've just got 2 more to go, and then we can join the ends. And we should be ready then to put them into place. The trouble with me is there's always something in the way. And also I drop things a lot. Right, I'm going to do the other side. So I'll flip this around. I was just checking which is the bottom and top, because some of these I've got a bit rotten. They're still good, but I wouldn't have much use out of them. I'm feeling a bit like, you know, the Prince Regent on Blackadder, where he's like, all good orators roar. Like a heroic stance. Okay, I need to be careful now when I flip this around. I have got stuff everywhere. Oh. I was buying the wood as and per the jobs were needed, but I didn't the last time. And now I've got wood everywhere. Right, okay, I got there in the end. Let's get these into place and see how if we can get them filled and leveled tonight. Ooh, I need to take a few more bits out, but that I think will do quite well. Right, I'll just what do you call it, dig out that side. Sorry, I'm a bit tired. I'll dig out this side and then get it level, and hopefully we can fill it then. Progress has been made. I've put the cardboard in, I've leveled it, I've wet the cardboard, so now I just need to put the compost in and plant the sunflowers in there. I don't want to fill it too full because I got the sunflowers to go in as well. Oh, and let's not forget the bloodfish and bone. Sunflowers are hungry plants, so we'll put a lot in for them. Right, I'm just going to give them all a bit more compost. What is that? Oh, I better take it home. It's rubber. Right, I'm just going to firm down this compost now. So this is exactly how I imagined this bed to be. I'm really pleased with it. I just need to give them a water now and think about doing a better staking job, but that can wait for another day. I'm going to work on the other side now and do exactly the same as I did this side, and I'll show you when I'm done. And here is the other side, all done. I'm really pleased with it. When you put something in and it looks like it's always been here, then it kind of tells you it's in the right place, doesn't it? And that's how this feels. I also took the time to level out this part of the ground because this bit was up really high and there was quite a dip. And I thought if I didn't take the time to level it out now, when I come to level everything out, it will be a harder job and I might have to move the bed. So I thought I'll do that now. And I should have done that the other side as well, but I think that side will be okay. I put in some line pins, but I haven't got a long enough batten to run across here that I could stake the sunflowers to. They have got stakes there, but they won't be strong enough for when they grow a bit bigger. So I wanted to put a batten in along there. But I think I've got something at home, so I'll bring that down the next time we're here. I want to plant out some morning glory plants now, so let's go and do that. So I've had these poor morning glory plants at home for ages, and I thought I've been trying to do symmetrical either side, but I don't know when I'm going to get around to doing the bed that side. I mean, it won't be a really long time away, hopefully, but you know, it might not be as imminent as I would like. So I thought, oh, I'll put all 7 out this side, and then maybe what I'll do the other side is I might put a teepee of beans or something up, because there's always something you can find, isn't there? Okay, I'll try and squeeze them in as much as I can. Just when I've got some twine just to wrap around the top. I have so much stuff in my pockets. Right, teepee is all done. I can't really put them in much more, but I was given a good tip, and somebody said to get a drill and drill a hole in the ground, which was a really good tip, but I haven't got my drill with me. So that was a bit of a mistake. But if you're struggling, that would be a really good way of doing it. But anyway, let's get the plants in the ground and hopefully they will grow up and not get eaten by the rabbits. I think I'll put them to the side. Normally I'd put them inside, but I think they'd be too close together. Try and remember to put bloodfish and bone in every planting pocket. I never remember that. I have to work out what else I'm going to put, you know, in this bed. I shall give these a thorough watering in and hopefully they'll be okay for a couple of days. I'm trying to get them to climb up the poles, but they're not playing ball at the moment. But that's all right, they can grow a bit more and then they'll go up a bit easier. So I'm trying to plant out all the sort of like miscellaneous plants I've got at home. So that's an end of one lot, but I have got a few more at home that I need to plant out. So let's do the harvest down here and then we'll go home. Here is my harvest. I've got a few firsts in here today. We've got some peas and some courgettes, but let's have a closer look. So at the moment for this week's harvest, we've got more Swiss chard. These peas are the Flavora, which I think are just normal peas, so we'll sell them. A couple of spring onions, I've still got some from last week. These are the first of the Kent blue peas, which are kind of like a mange tout pea. The first of the courgettes of this season. I've picked some that are small and some that are big, just so that these won't get too big before I next come down. Just a handful of beetroot because, like the spring onions, I've still got some left from last week. And then these are the ones I think are sugar snap peas, but I'm not entirely sure. So a very colourful harvest this week. And I almost forgot my harvest of sweet peas, which I always want to do just before we leave. I did wonder why my secateurs were in there, and then I remembered. So we've got the sweet peas as well. And now let's head home and see what else we can add to this basket. Just before I show you the harvest that I've done around the house, I wanted to show you the awful sort of devastation I have with my onions here in this bed. Now, they were growing absolutely lovely about a month ago. There was no problem whatsoever. And then about 2 weeks ago, I noticed a lot of them had started to flop over, and I thought, I wasn't sure if it was the wind, that had pushed them over, or whether they'd naturally come to the end, because usually when the stems flop over, that means they've finished doing their growing. But when I had a look, I noticed at the bottom of the onion, there's hardly any root there. So I think I've either got onion white rot, or I've got eelworm, because I did notice one onion had a grub in it. And basically, most of this crop is no good anymore. So it's just as well I have the allotment, and I had the bed at the allotment, because for the last few years, growing my onions in between my asparagus has been my main onion crop. So I do have some good onions, and I'm going to pull them now, because if it is eelworm, then they might get into those good ones. It is too early to pull my onions in normal years, but I might as well pull them while they're still good. We won't get a great amount because a lot of them have just been eaten. And if it is onion white rot, then it means I can't grow onions, alliums in this bed for the next 8 to 10 years, I think it is. So considering the asparagus that's in this bed is not doing exceptionally well either, I might reconsider this whole bed. And I am thinking I'm going to put a designated asparagus bed down the allotment, because it will only be like a 240 centimetre by 120 centimetre bed instead of this really long bed here. And admittedly, I do grow my potatoes in here, and then I swap over and grow, either leeks or cabbages or something after them. But I think it might be time to get rid of this bed. it's something for the future to think about. But the white rot has kind of, you know, tipped the balance really. Anyway, let's not dwell. I'm going to chuck all the bad onions just into the general waste. I'm not putting them in the compost or anything like that. We don't have a brown bin that collects garden waste, because usually every bit of garden waste goes in the compost heaps. But I'm not putting white rot in the compost heaps because it'll just spread, I think. So that's why I haven't showed you the harvest yet, because I'm going to harvest the onions, add them to the harvest, and then you can see what we've got. So here's the harvest from around the house. I've just added them to the harvest from the allotment there. So these are the onions we've got. You can see they do have roots, which is always a good sign. And I can't see any badness anywhere there. So we've probably maybe got about 30 onions there. Some big, like this one. Some tiddlers, like this one. But I do usually get a mixed bag of onions like that anyway. So we won't complain because we have had something. The potatoes, that's from 2 plants. I didn't need any more because I still got some from last week. There's like a handful of wilting lettuce because it's getting hot. Obviously the sweet peas from earlier, I've just put them in a vase. Still getting a couple of strawberries, but now the raspberries are coming in more frequent. A few tomatoes, got a combination there of Sungold, Shirley and Black Opal. And then we've got some blackberries, which we get in a bowl full like this about every 4 days or so. This bed is looking mighty empty now. We've got this asparagus plant which is doing well, and this one here which is doing well. But then there's rather a lot of empty, spindly looking gaps. And then we've got a couple down here which are doing well. I'm really happy with the harvest that's behind me. I have also harvested this week all of my green gooseberries, all of my red gooseberries, and the last of the jostaberries that I'm going to harvest. I do still have some left on the plant, but they only really make nice wine or nice jam, and we don't eat jam that often, so I'm going to leave them for the birds. I have made quite a lot of wine recently. I am running out of demijohns, and I'm having to go to pubs and ask them if they have bottles for me to filter the wine from the demijohn into the bottles, and then I can use that demijohn for the wine that that I've made that week. So this week we've got what have we got? We've got jostaberry on the go, we've got blackberry on the go, we've got another jostaberry on the go, and then some green gooseberry wine on the go, and also the tayberry wine that is in the demijohn I have left there, because sometimes when the wine ferments it can explode and it goes everywhere. And if I put it where I keep my wine, in and amongst all the other wine, then I'll have to clean all the other bottles of demijohns of wine. So I've just left it next to the fermentation bins for the time being, because it's much simpler that way. Even though they are cluttering up my kitchen, it is much simpler that way. Right, let me show you my tips on how to water at this time of year, because we all need to do a lot of watering at the moment, don't we? Are you like me at this time of year? It feels like you're just watering quite a lot of the time, or feeding quite a lot of the time. And have you got an IBC container or a water butt, or you've just got your hose pipe and you just stand there for ages and ages just filling up each watering can full? Well, this is a really good tip, that if you're in that situation where you haven't got a dip tank, you can create your own by getting one of these soft flexi tabs. emptying a load of water, I've just put some feed in the water, and then all I need to do is dunk my watering can into this water, fill both of them up, and then I can get around and water my plants, well, my pots, a lot quicker than just standing here waiting for the watering cans to fill. So I thought I'd share that with you because it makes life a lot quicker when you're having to water lots of things. I'm using this water with the feed to water my blueberries, raspberries and my acer tree because they are acidic plants. So they've got a feed that comes in a pink bottle for ericaceous plants, which is why the water probably looked a bit murky. It's because it's got quite a lot of feed in it. And it's probably got not double the amount they recommend, but about 1.5 of the amount they recommend, simply because I don't get the chance to feed my plants every week like they suggest you should. I water my plants once a week, but I feed them maybe once a fortnight. So when I feed them, I give them a strong concentration rather than a weak one, in the hope that it'll sort of balance itself out. Because life is just too busy for me to be feeding every week. How do you guys get on with feeding at this time of year? Please let me know in the comments below. But anyway, I'll get on with watering the rest of the garden, and then we'll find another job to do. I just wanted to show you the 2 feeds I'm using at the moment on my plants. So this one is the ericaceous one, and this one is liquid seaweed. I do have in my back garden some homemade comfrey and nettle feed that I made last year, and they're in tubs that I just haven't got around to sorting out yet, to decant into bottles. And I was in the shops and I saw these and I thought, oh, they were sort of like 2 for £6 or something like that. And I thought, it'll give me a bit of time that I won't need to worry about sorting out my nettle and comfrey feed. But once these have gone, I shall sort out the nettle and comfrey feed and use that. Well, that's it from me for today. All I can say about my work around the garden and the allotment is lovely job, and take care everybody.